All right, man. In the last video, I told you I felt comfortable telling you to invest in VOO. What is VO? It's an ETF, an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is an index that tracks. It's pretty much the total stock market. Top 500 largest companies in the United States by market cap. You got me? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna kind of walk you over how you can look into certain things. When I told you to look into VOO, I told you to go research these things, but I didn't kind of tell you how to go research. So, if you were watching Motion 101 episode 4, I name dropped the website, ETFDB. ETFDB is a website you can go to look into different ETFs, and it gives you a lot of great information to do your research and know what you're investing in, what that ETF holds, a lot of different things, their expense ratio, if they got dividends, you know. So let's get into it. So I told y'all to invest in VOO, Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. If you look here, you can see what's this tab? VOO stock profile and price. Sell the issuer, Vanguard. It's an ETF. The expense ratio is 0.03%. That's amazing. That's amazing. You always want to invest in things with a cheap expense ratio. Cheap expense ratio. Why are we paying an expense ratio? We're paying an expense ratio because Vanguard is doing the hard work for us. They're gonna go in and they're gonna structure this ETF and they're going to balance out the holdings so you don't have to. So gotta pay them an expense ratio, but this is a very cheap expense ratio. Its inception September '07 to 2010. Index track S&P 500 index. So let's go here. Dividend and valuation, as you can see, price to earnings ratio 20.10. ETF database category average price to earnings ratio 14.82. FactSet segment average price to earnings ratio 3.91. I did a video before when I told you how to look at Yahoo Finance. I told you what price to earnings ratio was then. Go watch the video. Go watch the video. That's why it's important that you watch these videos. Dividends, we can see VOO does pay a dividend. You see? You see it? They paid their last dividend. What was that? September 27th? That was their last dividend. Annual dividend, it gives you all of that information. Where else? Expense ratio and fees. As you can see again, you can see the expense ratio. You know, all of that good information. Holdings. This is what you want to know. This is what you want to know. What is this ETF holding? What am I getting exposure to when I buy this ETF? And another thing you need to know, when you buy ETF, you are putting your money in a big pot of fun. You're having exposure to these assets, but you do not have ownership in these assets. That's the difference between buying the stock outright, buying the stock individually, and buying an ETF. An ETF gives you diversification and it gives you exposure to a lot of these companies, but you do not have ownership. If somebody telling you by buying an ETF, you have ownership in the holdings, you do not. You do not. You have exposure to those assets. And when those assets go up in price, the value of your ETF, since it's tracking that index, those companies, that goes up in price. And another thing that I told you, when you're buying an ETF, this ETF tracks the S&P 500. An ETF is going to match the performance of the S&P 500, not beat it. It's not going to beat it. It's going to match the performance. That's its goal. The goal is to match the performance. So know these things when you're getting into ETFs. ETFs is a great way to have diversification, to have a more solid, not as volatile investment that's going to give you a good 10 to 12% return every single year. I invest in ETFs. I love them. I buy. Everybody should be in ETFs. Don't just go individual stocks. Have a balanced portfolio. So let's look at it. What does VOO hold? Apple. VOO is having Apple. It's having Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Google ANC, Berkshire Hathaway, Avco, Broadcom, Tesla, Eli Lilly, JP Morgan. When you're looking at these companies, when you're looking at, okay, what stock should I buy? What stock should I buy personally? You can start here. You can look at these ETFs. But okay, this is what they're invested in. Okay, let me go research these companies. Let me go look at them. Let me go see what the price is. Let me go see what it's looking like on a 52-week high. Hop on over there to Yahoo Finance, and you keep tapping in with me. You're gonna get more tools and resources that I use to research companies. ETFDB, this is a good one. As you can see, you look over here, you can look at what percentage of this asset, how much is allocated in this ETF to that asset. 7.11% for Apple, Nvidia 6.76%, Microsoft 6.25%. So when you invest in an ETF, let's say you put $1,000 in, you put $1,000 into the ETF, they're going to take your $1,000 and they're going to invest it percentage based into these companies. The same percentages you see over here on the right. That's where your $1,000 is going to get broken up. You got me? That's what an ETF is. Again, it's not ownership. You're not getting ownership in these companies. You're getting exposure to these companies. It's a difference. It's a difference. But these are great companies. You see a lot of the Max 7 companies in here. I'm invested in several of these companies. But yeah, let's go here. So you look at the holdings analysis. As you can see, like I told you before, SP 500 is tracking the top 500 companies in the United States. As you can see, look at this geographic exposure. So you're not getting, international exposure. Price and volume charts. You can kind of see what the price is looking like. It's giving you just a simple chart. See where the price is. You can see kind of how it's going. See it's trending up and to the right, like you want to see. Fund flows chart. You can see all that. Price flows in AUM, ESG, performance. You can see the 1 month return, 3 month return, year to date return, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year return. Technicals, the volatility, 20, 50, 200 day. You can see that beta. Remember I told you about beta in Yahoo Finance. That's giving you a gauge of kind of about the volatility of that stock. It's getting the technicals, Bollinger Bands, support and resistance. You know, I'm giving y'all the game. I'm giving you the resources. I'm giving you stay tapped in, and you're gonna learn how to research these companies. You're gonna learn what to look for. And let me give you another piece of game. If you're ever looking here, say you look here and you say, what is a Bollinger Band? What is a support and resistance? What is beta? You're coming in and you're seeing all these things that you don't know what it is. What is AUM? I want you to write those things down, and I want you to hop on over to Investopedia. Hop on over to Investopedia, type these things in, and Investopedia is going to give you a great breakdown. It's going to give you a lot of information, you know, so that you can become a smart investor. You can know what these things are. You can know what you're looking at. We don't have time to break down everything. I can't spoon feed you, but I can tell you where to go. I can point you in a direction. ETFDB. You want to look into different ETFs, know a lot of information about it. ETFDB. You come across something, you're looking up a company, you're on Yahoo Finance. Like, man, I don't know what this is. Hop on over to Investopedia. They're gonna put you up on game. You're gonna know what they talking about. You feel me? I just want to show y'all this. Remember, etfdb.com. You can go in, type in any ETF you want, and you can get all of this good information on it. All of this good information. It's great information to have. Know what you're investing in before you invest. Do your research so that way, when you have volatility, when prices do drop, when we do have red days, red weeks, red months, you're not panicking. You're not panicking. I know when I invest in VOO, for go down, I ain't tripping. For go down, I'm not panicking. I know the companies in that holding. I know the companies in that holding, they're going to perform. They're going to be here for the long term. They're going to do their thing. I believe in the stock market. I believe in the top 500 companies. And I know that the Mag 7, if nothing else, they gonna pull them up by their bootstraps. And I'm invested into a lot of the companies that's in a lot of these holdings personally in individual stocks. So I've done my research. I believe in what I'm invested in, and I'm in it for the long term. So if something drops, I'm not sweating. I'm not sweating because I know I'm in this for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You know, we talked about compounding interest. I want my money, I want to gain interest on my interest. You feel me? And when we do get them red days, because it's something I believe in, I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna put more money in. I'm gonna buy the dip. I'm gonna buy the dip. You know, we'll get into it a little bit later. You know, when you're having them red days, you can look at things like the VIX, Fear and Greed Index. You know, when I see that extreme fear and I see that VIX through the roof, hey man, I'm ready. I'm ready. It's companies I believe in, just like AMD. Snipe that up, 52-week low, 20 shares. You know, you got to know how to go research these things. When I dropped VOO VTI, told y'all to go look into it. Now you have no excuse. I'm showing you. Go look into it. Go look into it. Go look into it. You can even type that VOO VTI on Yahoo Finance. Go look into it. Keep following along, and I'm gonna keep giving y'all resources and tools to research these companies to become a smart, informed investor. But I see you on the next one. I see you on the next one, man. Go do that homework. Go do the research. Go read something, man. Go tap into CNBC in the mornings. You know, if you don't want to read, but you should read CNBC in the mornings. You know, check out the squawk. Let's see what's going on with them boys, man. See you on the next one.